So I'm getting ready to install some fender extenders on my 2021 Can-Am Commander Max. Got an opportunity to try out some from mudbusters.com. So they've got 3 different sizes that they offer for the 21 Commander. They're Maxes, Super Max, and Ultra Max. I went with the mid size, the Super Max, just because the Ultra Max, they're like 6 3/4 is what they extend out. I was kind of afraid we get in some tight and awkward spots every now and then, so I was a little concerned that they might hook up on some trees and get ripped off. So the Super Max, or 3 3/4, I believe is the average that they extend out. Presently have Can-Am's extenders on, which are 1.5 inches. So they don't do a whole lot, so hopefully these do a little bit better. But I gotta go wash the Can-Am because it's presently muddy. And we'll get started and see what comes in the box and go from there. So these are the 1.5 inches, the Can-Am's, the way they come. So they don't, that's what they cover. And as you can see, there's still some wheel out, quite a bit of wheel back here. So you still end up with quite a bit of mud, and that wasn't really, that was just trail riding. It wasn't no big mud holes or anything like that. So I'm hoping these will bend the 3 3/4. It should come out about double, maybe even a little more than double that. We'll get that tar covered enough to put a stop to some of this. Let's get this cleaned up before we can work on it. Alright, so we're going to open them up, see what's in them. Pieces. Instructions. That's what all you get. Alright, so after a couple day little setback, we're back at this. I originally started putting this together and realized that I had the wrong install kit. I got the one side on, as you can see, everything's on good, but it was done all with bolts. I was sent the install kit for one of the older style Commanders instead of the 2021 or newer. So I had to get in touch with them when they sent the right install kit. I'll end up taking the bolts out of this side and putting the rivets that's supposed to be in it back in it. But this is what you should have with your install kit. So I have your instructions manual. It shows what you get, and they have a parts list. Lord, I hope this rain don't get so loud that you can't hear me. And this is what it'll consist of. There's a bunch of rivets, these bolts, and then these 4 rivets. These rivets was actually kind of hard to find because they put them in with the other rivets, but they're 4 longer rivets. I don't know if I can get them lined up here. So it's just a little bit longer, and there are 4 of them. But that is what you should have for an install kit for the 2021. And I will take the bolts out of this and actually put the rivets where they need to go, and then I'll show you where all the rivets are, and then I need to do the other side still. This side still has the canam extenders on. But on top of the install kit, you're going to need, I believe it's a 21/64 drill bit and a 1/4 inch drill bit. I will confirm that whenever I get started and make sure that's what I use. But I'm going to get this straightened out and get back to you. Some of these are really hard to put in the factories, so I've been taking just a wrench, open in, you can put it right there, and you can pop them in. The 21/64s is looser than what your stock hole locations are, so you can push them in once you drill them, but these you'll have to push in this way. And then the instructions say to you, for some reason that cut me off there at the end, but the instructions tell you to use the butt of a screwdriver to push your rivets in to knock them in because they are tight. I've been using the back end of a proto wrench. Looks good to get in between your tar. Also, with your tars on, especially in the back, if you don't raise it up or take your tars off, you won't be able to get the drill in unless you have either a really short drill bit or a 90-degree drill. So it's just, I put mine on the lift just because it makes it easier on the back to get to, but you can take your tar off or put a jacket under it, either one, just to get the space. In the front, you can turn your wheel, and in the back, it's a little different. Alright, so I'm working on the rear fender, the driver's side rear. It's a little bit different than the passenger side. It's got this bracket here that helps support this because it's a little flimsy without it. But so the white rivets, I just dabbed them with a paint marker, but them have to be drilled. But this here, so I put a bolt here. The instructions don't tell you to put a bolt here. They've got it, you're supposed to put a rivet. But the problem is a rivet will not fit there. In the factory hole that's up here, it's too small. And if you look at their instructions, they've got a bolt there, even though they don't tell you to install a bolt there. The only 3/4 inch bolt that you're supposed to have on this fender is here. So I already had bolts just like what they sent, so I went ahead and put one there. The rep that I've been dealing with on these, I'll let him know this kit comes with the, what is it, let's see, 5 3/4 inch bolts. There are 2 on each front fender and 1 back here. So I'm going to email him and suggest that he sends 6. So if you're buying these, I would ask if you had 6 of the 3/4 inch bolts, just so you can put one here. The way apparently whenever they did their install instructions, they did. But besides for that, you put the rivets in, the bolts, and then when you install these bolts, you use your washers and they send their bolts. They're a little bit longer than your factories are. But you take yours out, you leave these loose until this bottom's on, because you can adjust this to make sure this is flush. They have slots, so you just put that where you want it. You tighten everything down on the back, and you have one hole right there that you'll have to drill. And these are where the long rivets, the 4 long rivets they send you, you get 2 in each of the main back fenders. Alright, so just a rundown of what's got to happen all the way around. So anything I've got paint markered white, that means you have to drill a hole. So quarter inch, those are bolts. You got to drill for these rivets. The rest of the rivets, holes are already there. And then 21/64. The passenger side front fender, same thing with the quarter inch. And these are 21/64. The rest of them are factory rivets. So on the back, this is your factory bolt, or I used my factory bolt. And you drill these. These up here, they send the bolts for these, but you use your washers that come off of your stock bolts. Put these on, leave it loose. You can adjust to get your straightness there. Same thing on this side. Only difference over here on this side is right here and this bolt. This is the bolt that I said they didn't send. So, like I said, I'm going to send them a message about it. Tell them, ask them, I guess, if I can start putting that in the kit. But I'd ask for 6 bolts. These are 3/4 inch bolts with a washer and a nut. That's what I'd make sure was in your kit. And then this, you've got different holes. It's just for your alignment. That way, depending on if you're maybe out a little bit or whatever here, that way you've got some adjustment there if you need it. That's all there is to it. I'll let it down off the lift and get a view of what it looks like. So this is what she looks like with them on. So those wheels are a 5+2, I believe, and then there's a 1.5 inch spacer behind them too. The fronts don't have no spacers. Next thing would be to take it out, find some mud, which it's Kentucky winter, so it shouldn't be real hard to do. And see if it keeps some of it from coming in. Only concern I really have with them is if I'm going to tear them off on trees. I've already broke both fenders on the back of this from hitting trees. So this is going to be out there. We'll see what happens with her. Y'all have a good one. So finally got to get the Can-Am in some mud, a little bit, some trail riding, and I really do like the fender extenders. A lot better than I thought I would. They keep a lot of the mud out that I was getting before, even with the 1.5 inch Can-Am fender extenders. But you still get some mud that comes up underneath them, and if you're in reverse, you'll throw some over the front. But for the most part, it keeps the big chunks that normally come in the cab and land on top of the roof. Keeps those away. But I definitely buy them again. I do like them. And they are a lot sturdier than I was expecting them to be. But mudbusters.com. Y'all have a good one.